Of the Northwest Houston Friends of NRA program. How many here belong to the NRA? Almost everybody. Next question. How many of you have heard about the Friends of NRA program? Excellent. We are probably the world's best kept secret within the NRA. If you look in your magazine you get every month, we get a little tiny blurb about this big and one of the far back pages that talks about our program. Very few people know about it. We are the non-political society of the NRA. We're the fun people. We do lots of fun things. Majority of our efforts are going towards fundraising. We are 501(c), which is not the same as the NRA. We have to maintain our 501(c) relationship. By doing that, we cannot talk politics in any of our meetings. We cannot bash political candidates. We really can't talk about the Second Amendment. Our purpose is solely to raise funds to promote the shooting sports. How many of you are familiar with the Eddie Eagle program? Okay, the Eddie Eagle program is a gun safety program. It is funded solely through the Friends of NRA program. It is not funded through the NRA. The Friends of NRA funds that program totally. All the money that we raise, 95% of it goes back into the shooting sports. The people who work for the Friends of NRA, their salaries are paid by the NRA. None of the money that is generated by any of our fundraising actually goes towards any political contributions, goes to the NRA, and all goes back into the shooting sports. Other programs we fund, there's the Safe School program. Anyone know about Safe School program? It's a program where if a school has a security issue, the Friends of NRA will send in evaluators and do evaluation in the school to promote the safety, to upgrade your safety levels, whether it's metal detectors, things. They're now putting in bulletproof doors. A couple of the charter schools in San Antonio have gone full bore. They put in bulletproof doors on all the doors, including over classrooms. So they can lock the doors to the inside, and they are bulletproof now. Unfortunately, public schools can't afford that. The private sector is doing it. There is the Texas School Shield Fund, which is, if a school wants to do that, we can help fund it. We just can't fully fund some of those funds. They do get outrageous expenses real fast. The Friends of NRA program is each state has, depending on how big the state is, each state has a couple different regions. Texas here, we're now split up into, I think we're split up into 5 regions. We are Texas East. Within our Texas East program, we have, I think, 13 or 15 chapters. Last year we were bigger, we were Texas South, and our range went all the way down from Nacogdoches all the way down to Nevada. Now we're pretty much limited. Victoria to the south, Beaumont to the east, we go up to San Antonio, Middle Rose to the west, and I think south of Victoria. So we're containing maybe 18 chapters this year. Last year we had double the chapters, so we pretty much raised double the money. But last year we generated just under $700,000 of funds. We turned back $650,000 to the local programs. The local programs include 4-H clubs, FFAs, junior ROTC programs, Texas Yes program, or any other 501(c) organization that has a shooting event. That includes local law enforcement. School districts, Harris County, has applies for a grant, and there's a process of the grant. You got to fill out paperwork and show that yes, what you're asking for is going to promote shooting sports. We're not going to give money away or guns away to organizations so they can turn around and redonate or something. What we'll give, we love to give merchandise. Every year, people will apply for their grants. They'll look at what they want from the shooting club. It could be guns, it could be ammo, it could be clay pigeons, it could be targets. The only thing we ask is if we award anything to the organization, it has to stay with that organization. So if you have a shooting club, you don't have a lot of kids that can afford guns, well, the organization can request guns, they have to maintain them, and they'll have guns available for kids who can't afford them, they want to get into the sport. So the only thing we ask for is you stay as inventory within your club. You can apply year-round, actually every year. love to have the grant recipients come to our events, because I love to bring the grant recipients up in front of the podium to get into the meeting, introduce them, and let you know the money we're raising tonight is going to promote shooting sports for events like this. In this area right here, we have Concordia Lutheran is a grant recipient, the KD, I'm not sure it's 4-H or FFA is recipient, and one spring and one Montgomery 4-H or FFA recipients. And we have one of the Safe Fairs Junior ROTC programs gets grants this year from us. So how do we raise the money? We actually have annual events. First annual event coming up in this district is going to be in Hayden, and I believe that's in the end of February. My event is going to be up at the Townville VFW. We're going to be on May 10th. Has everyone been to a Ducks Unlimited banquet or National Wild Turkey Foundation? It's very similar. We have donated items. We have items we get from the NRA. We give away, last year, our district, my chapter, we gave away 33 guns. That was done through drawings, live auctions, and raffles. We have lots of ways to separate you from your money. In addition to the guns, we have other different items. If you've never been to one of our events, by all means, attend one. I don't care where it is. You go to them, you're going to be hooked. When I went to my first one, I won a couple guns. This is I like it. It's a good way to get guns in the house without having to buy your wife. But it usually entails dinner. We don't have any speakers other than beginning of the program, introduction. We cannot have any political candidates there. If a political candidate shows up, we can recognize them. This is so-and-so, he's county commissioner something. If a person shows up, he's running for office, we can't recognize him. You have to hold an office to be recognized, but you can't do any endorsements. They can't handle literature. We can't have any Second Amendment literature at the programs. It's truly a 501(c), and our Friends of Veteran program does everything they can to protect that. We do not want to lose that. Likewise, if you go to any events, the monies that you spend on items, they're tax deductible. You just have to talk to the accountant and find out how much of each purchase is tax deductible. You go to the Friends, www.friendsofnra.org. You'll get to the main screen. You can really find out everything you want to know about the program, where events are. So if you very top of the screen, click on events, and go to that sub-menu, find an event. You get the big in the United States, click on Texas, then you get a thing, punch your zip code and how many miles radius. You'll bring up all the Friends of NRA programs in that regional area. The ones I go to the ones up in Cleveland, Conroe, Kaskaskia, Humboldt, Hempstead, Houston. Actually, Houston has a couple. Northwest Houston, Houston Metro, some Baytown. But I typically go to 4 or 5 a year. There are different ways to attend these events. Let's say go to one, check it out, see what happens. A typical event is going to have a whole line of tables along one wall where there's going to be bucket items. You buy a ticket pack, all your tickets are going to have the same number, put them in the buckets. At the end of the night, you draw a ticket of a bucket and you win that prize. There's going to be another table, which is our live auction items. We will have a live auctioner, and we'll auction off those items. And then in addition to that, we'll have some games and raffles. We gave all kinds of different guns. One year we had a Thompson 1928, some automatic version there, a Ruger Precision rifle. We'll have a high quality gun on at least one table. Yeah, those things are going to be quite expensive. They may be $100 a ticket, but we only sell 50. And there was a couple years I was there getting everything set up. All those tickets were actually sold before I had a chance to buy one. They go like hotcakes. The typical event, doors open about 5:30, and you're out of there by 10 o'clock. So you have to work in the morning. It's not an all-night adventure. Some venues are allowed to have alcohol. In fact, most of them are. There are a few that are not. You can't be early. But like like I said, you will enjoy the event. The best thing to do is come up with a group of 8 people, by table, you all get to sit together, and you'll guarantee to sit together. By individual tickets, we do have open seating. It'll be tables like we're laid out here, show up and sit down. Like I said, but the main thing we're doing is to raise money to fund the shooting sports. It's really the women's and the youth shooting sports we are really targeting. We want to get them. That's promoting the future of the shooting sports. We can't get our young kids involved in shooting. They're not going to know about it, and the shooting sports are going to die off. We also fund some of the, it's similar to like a Make-A-Wish, just the foundations that will take handicapped.
Bill, could you speak up a little bit?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, people out back in the back have no trouble.
Another program is, some programs similar to the Make-A-Wish. We'll take some handicapped kids, take them out on a hunting adventure. We get, these programs are donated by some of the outfitters. And it's another good thing to see the kids out there to get them interested in the shooting sports. Church groups that have a shooting team. Believe it or not, there are quite a few church groups around that have shooting teams. We fund them. Now, it doesn't have to be a gunpowder or a cartridge firearm. We do pellet guns. Some of the school districts shooting teams would issue pellet guns. Some of these pellet guns used for these hot matches, they cost more than a shotgun that I use for sporting place. They'll go over to $3,000 for a great pellet gun. We can provide those to some of the schools. So even though it sounds like, oh, they're shooting pellet guns or a church is doing it, if they shoot a pellet gun range, all you need is a big nylon net behind, set up some targets, and kids can shoot. It's very popular. A lot more churches are offering it. Most of the schools that have shooting programs at least start them off with pellet guns, and they'll do it in gymnasium and actually do it in the classroom. They're not that strong. The pellets aren't that strong to really damage anything unless a kid wants to shoot everyone with lights or something. But that's the best way to introduce kids into the shooting programs. They'll expand into that, into 22s. The Concordia Lutheran ones, they actually have a competitive sporting plays and a track and skeet team. We also fund the Texas A&M shooting team. So anyone who can apply who's 503C, apply for these grants. As I mentioned last year, we gave away just over $600,000. We had 115 grants. Do the math. You divide that out, every applicant is going to get somewhere around $5,000 worth of merchandise. We'll get some organizations, they apply around $1,000 to $1,500 worth of stuff. We get some organizations that apply, we want $80,000 worth of stuff. We can't fund everything. We try to do it equitable. This year, since our district pretty much cut in half, we're not going to have as much money. We're probably going to have half of that and half the applications. So we're still probably going to give about the same dollar amounts to these organizations. But if your kids are involved in any type of shooting sport, and it's a 501(c), by all means, get them, the manager or who's ever sponsoring the club, go to the website and apply for grants. Grants close in November of each year. The grant program will open up somewhere around August of next year. You have about 2-3 months to fill out the paperwork, turn them in. We love giving merchandise away. As you fill out the grant, basically have a catalog. Pick the stuff you want, the shotguns, there's guns, you name it, everything's in there. One thing we don't like to do is we don't want to give away, don't want to give cash. Shooting program, some says, well, we need money for entry fees or we need practice range fees, and they ask for money. Well, use your other fundraisers to generate the money. If we give you money, it's not easy for us to track that, yes, we use that money for what we intended it for. But if we give you merchandise, we know the merchandise stays with the club. Use the other fundraising to generate the funds you need for entry fees and stuff like that.
Bill?
Yes.
Do you have any problem with or I guess opposition with school districts? Like, I just retired from Klein ISD. We have a policy like if students are talking about guns, if they draw a picture of a gun, if they're researching guns on the computer, that's a disciplinary action. So how does that jive with school districts? Do you get any pushback?
I don't get any feedback from them. I've gone to Klein ISD. I've gone to some of the shooting programs. My first tactic is go to the police department or the school district, Cy-Fair, Klein ISD. I'll give them the information. Please pass this out to whoever your shooting teams are. They don't have to identify them to me. They want to keep it more secret, but at least pass information on to these your shooting teams within your school district. Some school districts apply for them, some don't. We funded quite a bit with Harris County. In fact, Klein ISD Police Department applied for that this year. There are some police districts that flat out will not apply for a grant. There's no strings attached. We don't ask for anything in return. But some police departments, they don't want to be beholden to anybody. So even though it's a program that's available to them, they will not apply for the grants for whatever reasons. I think it's really they don't want to be beholden to anybody else. Yes,
Bill, along the same lines to your question, with what happened in Florida, happened here in Santa Fe, you see some lawsuits now with unions and school districts on, arming teachers that want to opt in to maybe arm themselves, get the proper training. What's the climate? What kind of activity in your organization do you see around these conversations?
And the Friends of NRA program, that's outside of us. We're promoting the shooting sports. It's something that, yes, it sounds good. We love to train the teachers, getting into promoting shooting, but that's a program.
So you guys can't, I understand you can't advocate for candidates, but you're not allowed to advocate for legislation?
No, you need legislation.
Okay.
The NRA is the political side of it. They do the lobbying and legislation.
Got it.
If the Friends of NRA program steps over that boundary, we lose our 501(c)(3).
Sure.
No longer tax deductible. So that's what I'm saying. We take great care to make sure we don't step over the line of the 501(c)(3)s. So some parts, our hands are tied.
Sure.
Certain things we can do, and those activities have to be handled by the NRA. I belong to the NRA. I would love to talk about it, but in my role as Friends of NRA, I can't.
Well, maybe you can take that hat off when you're done.
When
with
we're
your,
done, we can talk
I'd
about
love
that.
that. Yeah.
But whatever speakers I do, it's controlled. There's certain things I can and I cannot talk about. The other thing, the Friends of NRA, you do not have to be a member to attend any events. Talk to people. Oh yeah, I'm a life member. Benefits. Well, you can come to any of our meetings. There's no requirements. There's nothing to join. Let's just come, enjoy the event, and have fun. Yes, sir.
How often do you have Eddie Eagle programs in this area?
Pardon?
Eddie Eagle programs, how often do you have them in this area?
Eddie Eagle programs, it's run by different individuals. Part of it is, let's say, a few days you want to participate in the Eagle program. You'll take some training, and we'll actually provide you one of those big bird suits looking things. And then you will go around to different schools and put on presentations. We fund the efforts. We don't put it on. We have volunteers that get now we'll provide the material and all that for handouts, but it's up to the local Eddie Eagle trainers, whatever you want to call them, to go to different schools or different organizations and put on the program. So we don't run it, but I can't tell you how many Eddie Eagle people got in the district and how many presentations they make a year. Sorry, I had to jump on that.
Got any more questions about what Bill's outlined? He needs to stay on, and have a few more questions about his foundation and their work in the shooting sports, and then we can have Bill sit down and he can take off his shirt, and then we can talk about a couple other things here. So just a couple more questions about his organization, and then we can move on to talking about a couple of the other things on the agenda there.
Yeah, I'm a novice at understanding what schools have done or are doing around school safety, but I've got a daughter who's a freshman here at Bridgeland. So I'm curious about the Safe School program. How does a citizen engage you guys to, or maybe this high school has already done it?
The school district will apply for the assistance for the school safe program. They'll ask the NRA or the Friends of NRA, and they'll schedule visits. They'll send some security consultants out there, look at the security of schools.
So it won't be an individual school; it'll be the district.
Well, it would either be the district or a principal from that particular school. Someone has to contact the NRA program to.
And you may not know the answer, but I'd be curious if anyone here does. If the school hasn't done it, or maybe doesn't know it exists, as a parent, what would you recommend we do?
The Friends of NRA program with the Bear Rules world's best kept secret. It's trying to get the word out what programs are available. Very few people know about it. We could use a whole lot more advertising in magazines to present our programs. The majority of it, the promotion comes through people, us doing talks like this, bring people's awareness up. Very few people know about all the programs.
So David, I know you've been active with the boards and stuff. Where does this elevate on their topics of or priorities on their agenda? David Wilson, that was you. Sorry.
Pardon me? Oh.
I know you've attended some of the school board meetings and stuff here locally. I'm just curious.
I've never heard them ever talk about it.
Not school safety, or even with what's gone on.
Well, now
recently,
you talked about some of the programs you have available for school security, etc. Now, Cypher ISD, their last bond election, $1.2 billion. A lot of that was to secure the schools, and they've used that funds that way. It would have been nice to have you guys pay for it rather than us as taxpayers.
Yeah, I'm not sure what percentage is paid for it, but we do help. I'm not sure if we actually provide funding for the actual improvements, or we do the security analysis if we support this is what we suggest you do. Kathy, you have a question?
My question was Bill's question.
Oh, okay.
Like, what would a school need to do to find out about your safety? How much can you provide? Like, how much financial assistance is
That I do not know what percentage or how much money we provide. I know we provide the analysis for the school, and it's like anything, take a car to a mechanic, what's wrong with it? Could be something small or something big. Depending on what the school needs or what the consultants recommend, dollars can range everywhere. But what percentage or how much we provide of that, that I don't know.
How long has your group been around, and did you ever have any problems with the IRS getting your 501c3 approval?
IRS hits us up every couple of years. They do an audit. There are certain things that we have to, there's certain checkpoints. They want to make sure after we have an event, we turn the money in within 24 hours and just full accounting of it. If we give away, it gets into whether it's raffle or a live auction item. If it's a raffle and you're buying a $5 ticket and you won a $5,000 gun, no big deal, there's no IRS things. If it's a raffle that you bought a particular ticket for like a drawing or something, and it's over some dollar amount, you have to fill out another program, IRS form. Every so often you will have a gun that's valued that much, and you get some paperwork. That paperwork has to get turned in within less than 24 hours for IRS. Most of the guns we have and items we got are well below that, so there's really never any tax implications. 513, the headquarters gets audited. They'll audit the programs. I've never, my chapter, we are in our 6th or 7th year right now. As far as I know, none of the local chapters have ever been audited. However, they do audit the program in
The national level?
National level.
So as far as you know, they haven't caused any problems, IRS?
No.
Okay.
But we take great deals to make sure we stay within the line.
Oh,
And if it's questionable, we don't do it. And we get to the point where, let's say you donate something, let's say it's valued $50, or let's say it's $300. And I'm gonna have, okay, we're gonna do so many tickets. We'll divide what the cost is by number of tickets. There has to be a certain ratio. If that ratio exceeds, then we either have to raise the price of tickets or take something out of that package. So there are some guidelines for, even though it's a donated item, hey, it's donated, it's free. The IRS still has some regulations on what is allowed and what's not. So Liz, the regional director, she takes care of all of that. I'll go out, look for donations, sell tickets, we'll have raffles. As we come to putting on the program, how the program gets structured, Liz is the one who actually will run the evening. This is how it's going to get structured. We'll get together how many dollars for tickets. We love to have $20 raffle items for one ticket, and maybe 25, 50 tickets sold total. And do the math, you're probably getting something that is about half the cost of the total tickets are going to be sold. Well, like I said, come to our event, you'll have fun. If you don't have fun, I would be really surprised, especially if you like guns.